Hello, everyone. We should be online on LinkedIn soon. I will check on my mobile. If anyone can check if you are online.
It says live on the screen, so I believe so.
Okay, now we are online. So hello, everyone on Zoom, and hello, everyone on LinkedIn. So let's start. We will start from a short introduction of Transition Manager Academy, postgraduate studies we do with Koźmińskie University. And we have online Hania Buze, she's the lecturer, Mike Rawlins, lecturer as well, Przemek Kotecki, lecturer, and Kasia Bevan from the last edition. She's TMA alumni, so she will share her experience as well. Okay, so let me maybe Mike, how would you like to start, with the slides or with Kasia sharing experience?
Why don't we jump straight in? Because I know, Kasia, you're short of time, aren't you? And thank you very much for joining us. Kasia is short of time because after TMA, she's become so much in demand that like she has very little time to do anything other than basically transform things. So we'll run through the slides a bit later on, and I'll talk a bit about what TMA is and what we stand for. But Kasia, perhaps you'd just like to give us a few minutes on what your experience was like of the course itself and what's happened to you since.
Happily, I hope that you can hear me very well. I don't have my headphones right now, so what could I say about that? That was a beautiful journey. My journey through Koźmińskie University. From the start, about 2 years ago, I was looking for really good study course. I didn't know what I should do. I knew that I need a change. I knew that I want to develop myself in certain direction. I had absolutely no idea where to go and what to study. I graduated a few times previously, so this choice was really crucial for me to make the right choice. And then I came across this Transition Manager Academy in Warsaw. I live since several years abroad. I live in the UK, and that was a quite difficult choice to make. However, reading the program, the study course, I was thinking, yeah, this is exactly what I need. This is exactly what I want to learn. I did not understand exactly what does it contain, what does it mean, and what will it bring me. And ultimately, I came with, I think, different outcomes than I was expecting for myself. The study, this is absolutely the best study I ever experienced in my lifetime. And I'm 44 years old. So I graduated, I finished 2 universities, I've done post-graduation afterwards, done college, a different study in London as well. So, and this postgraduate study really transformed me dramatically, I have to admit. And I think that the study is for someone who is trying to understand what change means, what transition means, what kind of how do we manage our project, how we can manage generally ourselves in this constantly changing environment, and who we are, who we want to become, and what are our values, and how do we understand, how do we kind of function and adapt and become agile in this environment. So if anyone is interested in project management, people management, leadership, any kind of risk management, trying to become better for others, improve his communication, become better in negotiation, and etc. It's just perfect study. And study is totally different than I ever experienced before, because it's purely based on practicing. It's just practice. It's pure practice. Our lecturers, I tell you honestly, it's I don't remember having books. Of course, I bought the books. I wanted to know what this project management is, but it was not about study. It was not about study at home and reading and trying to remember things. No, it was learning by practicing. It was changing my behaviors, our approaches, starting thinking outside of the boxes. During the study, we became all participants. We became definitely more encouraged to talk out loud, to think differently, and we certainly got empowered by everyone who's lecturing us, who are helping us, and I'm really, really glad for the team of lecturers who wanted to share their knowledge and experience, and they provided such a really mature studies and full of inspiring. That was a journey through very inspiring journey. It was, every lecture was unique, every time was different, and it was always a lot of fun. And to be honest, I know this, my colleagues and we thought at the end, okay, where's the phase 2? We want more. We want next year. When is there going to be continued ever in the future? So I hope that in the future there will be new design and we will be able to meet again.
You Katja, that's wonderful. And as you're finding, I mean, we haven't got a part 2 yet. Maybe, you never know. But what you're finding for you, I think, because just for everyone on the call, I've been mentoring Kasia since the course finished. But what you're finding is part 2 is really taking it into the workplace and noticing what happens. How much in demand the knowledge and the new confidence and the new understanding you have is. I know we haven't got a lot of time, so probably not much more on this now, but is anything, one last thing you'd like to say to us before we move on and we start the introduction?
No, I still have a couple of minutes, if you don't mind. Yeah, because very interesting is that, indeed, whatever I learned during the study, I can apply in my work. Just straight after I study, I got a wonderful job offer, which I took, and I do it ever since. And I'm program manager. I'm managing transformational projects. So I am in a transformational company. So company is changing itself and providing transitional and transformational solutions. So it's double transformation, which I'm dealing with. And so every knowledge I gain from this study, I can apply. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful that I got provided so many tools, so many techniques. And thank you, Mike, for mentoring me. And I want to tell you that I got asked by two colleagues if I could become their mentor right now. So I see that this is something, that I hopefully I will be able to pass over the knowledge to other people.
Hi, I lost everyone for a minute. They're just at the important part as well.
It is recorded, so you can...
I can watch again. Yeah, everyone just froze. I want to tell you that, but there you go. Thank you, Kasia. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure teaching you and mentoring you, and just watching you progress on the basis mainly of who you are, but also what we've given you as well. Thank you. Gosia, should we move on and do the introduction slides now? Gosia's talking, but he's on mute.
You're on mute, Gosia.
So, I'm sorry, I forgot. So, Przemek, it's a question to you. Shall we do the introduction first and then the quiz?
Yeah, you usually.
Yeah, so maybe more people join. Yeah, so okay, so let's do a very quick introduction so people are not bored. Stay with us on for the quiz as well. So let me share the slides.
And I think I would say that Kasia has probably done most of the introduction for us anyway, because a lot of what she said is what we were about to tell you.
Okay, so just a few words, Mike, if you could walk us through the audience and objectives and benefits.
I would do that. I can read off a slide as well as anyone. It's one of my key competencies. But as Kasia said, we are talking and we are teaching and we are training and we are mentoring about how to manage and lead transition and transformation projects and programs. And so our target audience is anyone who is currently or potentially going to be leading a transition and transformation project. Anyone who is part of a team or may become part of a team of a transition project and wants to understand a bit more about how they can work within that and the roles they can assume and the contribution that they can make towards success. People who are existing project managers, members of shared services, business process outsourcing, any context which is going to bring you into a position where you are trying to make changes to systems and processes or environments, and that where you're going to be affecting people such that those people have to go through a transition. And that's, we probably say this a bit later on, but that's the key thing. When we talk about transition, we're not talking about, well, we're not talking solely about the external changes that projects make. What we're talking about is the process by which people who are impacted by these projects make the transition so that they change who they are and how they work, and so that they can function better in the new world. Can we have the next slide, please, Kasia? Okay, this is the team. I've had my hair cut since that was taken, as you may notice. Kasia also has grown her hair, so basically we've transferred my hair onto Kasia.
Okay, so just a few words from me. So Mike Rowlings, it's on the first picture. Mike is teaching leadership, coaching, mentoring, team management, and also the first she's co-training with me the first module on transition management, so change management, the bridges model. So I skip Przemek. Przemek is teaching project management and negotiations with Agnieszka. Michał Rączka, he's teaching agile project management. Hania Buze, she is teaching virtual and cross-cultural team management. So here she is. She's the expert, so you can ask questions to her during the session, because today's session it's focused on cross-cultural awareness. And Ania Szczepkowska, she is teaching visual management, sketchnoting, so you can learn drawing as well during our studies. And Jurek Obojski, he is teaching the creative problem solving, the method called TRIS. And myself, I'm with Mike, delivering transition management, organization transition management session, facilitation session. Before we started, Kasia mentioned that she's using what she's learned from every session, and every day she's using facilitation process and techniques. I'm teaching facilitation as well, and risk management. So that's the team. Mike?
So the objectives, we're project and transition managers. We've got to have objectives, haven't we? We've got to know where we're going and why we're going there. Or do we? We're not going to investigate that question now, but actually that's one of the things we will be talking about is how do you manage transition in an uncertain world where your objectives may change. But for now, the objectives that we talk about are basically to prepare our participants for the management and coordination of transition and transformation initiatives. Because management and coordination are important, but they're not the only thing. We are looking to deliver skills and competencies in managing global projects. So hence we have some content around cross-cultural working. And our focus is on organizational and service transition. We want to provide you with the theory of leadership, but more importantly, as Kasia said, we want to get you to experience the practice of leadership. And yes, we will be teaching you some stuff, but our sessions are predominantly experiential. You will be doing a lot of things and learning by doing. Of course, what it's all about is the reason we undertake transition projects is to deliver value through change, but more importantly, to deliver sustained value. So we're looking to embed new ways of working, new processes, new things in place in our organizations. We want to take project managers and help you transition yourself to become effective leaders of change.
Thank you, Mike. And that's just the program. So we have 11 modules. So we are starting from managing organization transition. The last usually, or sometimes in the middle, is transition program leadership run by Mike. Then we've got a few sessions on ways of working with others. So it's communication and team management, including virtual and multicultural team management. And 2 modules on creative thinking and creative problem solving. So I mentioned facilitation, visual thinking, and Chris, creative problem solving. And developing and influencing, mentoring, coaching, negotiation for project success. That's what Kasia mentioned. And consultation for the final thesis. Okay, that was just a quick program. And it's based on PMI talent triangle. So ways of working, power skills like leadership and business acumen. Mike, I over to you. More benefits. I just mentioned this. There are more. It's your role.
Well, to be honest, I'm not going to say much on this because I think Kasia said it for me. Okay. Kasia and her colleagues from the last cohorts and previous cohorts, we've had so much feedback from people that said, you've changed the way I work. You've taught me you've allowed me to find my own style of leadership, find capacities that I didn't know I had. And it is all about how we manage complex change in what is recognized to be a volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world. Personally, I don't think it's any more ambiguous than it ever was. We just recognize it more, and things change faster. And I think Kasia said it all. Everything she learned, she is using in her day-to-day experience. She didn't say it, but what I've been noticing is that the default position now within her organization is we have a problem here. Let's see what Kasia thinks. Because she's bringing in some fresh ideas, some fresh ways of thinking about things that maybe the organization has not had before. Finally, this is my thing. Okay. Sometimes people say to me, you talk about leadership, Mike. I will do 2 days on leadership at some point during the course. But can you write it down on 1 sheet of paper? And I said, well, I can do better than that. I can write it down in 1 word, or maybe 2 words. Stay curious. For me, good leadership is about being comfortable and actively demonstrating not knowing. As leaders of transition programs, we are not setting out to know everything and tell everyone what to do. Our job is to show each other, create a safe space, create a phrase that will come up many times, psychological safety, for yourself and others around you to experiment, to remain curious, to exhibit childlike wonder, because it's those facilities that allow us to deal with a rapidly changing, uncertain world. So, curiosity. If you come to TMA, what you'll get above everything else is you will learn how to become and remain curious. I'm curious. Am I doing this as well?
Yes.
I am. You will see lots of diagrams, basically. I mean, we have access to international experts. We have agile experts. What we do, basically, none of this is, well, actually, some of it is us, but most of this, we're looking for best practice. We read the books. We look at the talks. We read the papers so that you don't have to. And what we do is each of us brings into our own individual lectures our own preferences and our own interests and our own learning. So you will see that there are certain books that come up many times. People like Amy Edmondson on teaming, people like Susan Madsen on project management, Nancy Klein on creating a thinking environment. So we take these things and we bring them together and we mold them into a complete package. So that you have the best access to the best knowledge, the best experience, the best thought leaders out there in terms of delivering effective transition.
Yeah, the best, I think the knowledge in the world. So we bring it to the TMA. That's
what I think we as a team, one of the things we have that binds us together, all of us have that curiosity. All of us we read a lot. We attend conferences, because we want to know stuff. But when we know stuff, we then want to share it. And we want to make sure that it gets used. That's what TMA is about, knowing stuff and using it.
Exactly, especially using it, yeah. Most of it we have experienced, tested ourselves. And we bring what it works. If it doesn't work, we will not bring it.
Yeah.
We believe in it.
Yeah, I guess the other thing, Kasia talked a bit about her colleagues. One of the things the participants tell us is while they learn a lot from us and they learn a lot about themselves, they learn as much from their colleagues on the course. So we do get a really diverse membership, diverse in terms of experience, age, nationality, business background. And there's a lot of opportunities to share knowledge, share experience. So you will learn not just from us, but from others around you as well. And yes, studies are conducted in English. I have not yet managed to brush up my Polish. So yes, studies are conducted in English.
So for the group, we've already have 12 people join. So we have a few nationalities already. So that would be quite a diverse team, diverse group this year.
Thank you.
And the last one, ready to run the whole program virtually, although the program is, except a few modules, such as a virtual team management, it's virtual, so a few virtual, most modules are run at the class, so on site.
Well, we kept going, didn't we? During COVID, we kept going.
Yeah, we didn't stop. And we've got some recommendations. There are more and more recommendations. People really want to give us recommendations. So there's opens. I came to open more doors, and the TMA opened my eyes. Or I like the one I like. It's I would not change TMA the studies for the best vacations of my life. So this is the quotation I remember.
Do you know what, Kasia? I'm getting a sense we've done a lot of talking now. We should be doing some doing, shouldn't we?
Yeah. So that's the last slide. So it's done by AgilePMO, and we are the authorized training PMI Project Management Institute authorized training partner. So we get personal development units as well, studying Transition Manager Academy. That was the last slide. So
excellent. Let's do a quiz. I'm excited.
Let's do the quiz.
Right. All right, so I'm taking over. Let me do. that you should be seeing my welcome screen. So hi, hello, I'm Szymek Kotecki. I was already introduced as lecturer of the project management and negotiations part with Agnieszka. Now, the other hat that I have in the studies is the facilitator of the quiz, right? So now you get to play a little with me. Now, where are we doing that? We are doing it on the Menti platform. So you need to do one of two things. You either should be going to menti.com and use this code that you see on the top, 35, 48, and so on, right? Or you go to the other tab at your laptop or computer, and then you put the same things there. Now, probably with your smartphones, it's easier. How we'll play the quiz. So quiz is about the cross-cultural awareness. The questions are mixed from number of people that you see on the right. Those are the people that contributed some of the questions. There will be 20 questions that are within the content scope, and one warm-up question just to kick off the things. Just few logistic elements. So we do have 4 answers for each of those questions, and only one answer is correct. Now, sometimes you may say, hey, a few of those are okay, right? Then you pick the best one that you believe fits best. We're always going with whatever the author of the question provided as the answers, right? And we understand that sometimes it depends, right? So we just go with that, right? Now, after each question, for which you will have 20 seconds to answer, and you will be choosing at your screens, right? We will be giving you the right answer and the commentary. So commentary is written by the author of the question, but also if anyone would like to jump in or comment or discuss, we're very open to that. So roughly the quiz will take approximately 20 something minutes, right? Up to 30 probably, right? And now this time, because we've done a few of those quizzes in different topics, this time we did not ask AI for anything. We have only human questions and human answers provided, right? And we're playing with that. Let me know if you have any questions about the logistics of or how that works. Well, in the meantime, I'll just say that we believe that the physical prices are not that important and not that needed. So fame and glory obviously is most important thing here, and that you actually get to learn something. If you didn't know answers to any questions, you may get to know the answer and know a little bit more after the quiz, right? But what we tend to do for anyone that takes part in the quiz, if you end up being the first person on the leaderboard, there will be a short leaderboard with the points, right? And that excludes lecturers. So whoever's lecturer, you can play just for the sake of having fun, but you are not counted for the prizes, right? So for whoever from the attendees wins, you can choose one of those 2 books that we have here. So either House of Cards or The Power of the Project Leadership, and we will send it to you. With that, just one thing that I think I did not cover here. In Menti, if you haven't played with that, you do get points if you give correct answer, but also the time matters. So the faster you get the answer, the more points you get, right? And then on top of that, if you have a streak of correct answers, you get even more points, right? So this is how the system is constructed here. So if you would have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, we will be moving forward and checking how we're doing with that, right? So let's see how many people we do have. We do have 4 people that joined. Let me know if I should be waiting for someone else.
Przemysł, just one thing, you can join from LinkedIn as well. I've just pasted it's Menti.com and code is 3548649. I pasted it on LinkedIn, so we can join from LinkedIn. There are some viewers on LinkedIn. I'm going to join as well, although trainers are not counted in the final round.
Right, so I do see people coming and going. But hopefully we'll have, so we'll just wait for once Gosia joins. I'll assume that everyone had enough time, and then we'll just kick off. And questions are some of them are cases, right? So you are presented with a short scenario or presentation of the situation, and then you're asked, okay, what would be the best approach or the best solution here? And then you get to answer that. All right. Is this you, Gosia?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so someone joined us in the meantime. All right. And another person joined. Perfect. Just tell me, Geshe, when you're in.
Yeah, I think I'm there.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah.
all right, perfect. So with that, I'm kicking off. So the first question is a warm-up question, but it already counts to the points, right? So be ready and we move forward. All right. What does TMA stand for? So we joined on the open day for the TMA. What does it stand for? TMA. Okay. And whenever everyone votes, of course, we do get. Great. All right, perfect. Everyone got it right. So this is how the questions will look like. You will have up to 20 seconds, and then whenever anyone answers, the time stops, right? Now, the next slide that we will be showing then on each of those is who created the question, and then a short description of whatever was in mind of the person. And then if you would like to have any questions or discussion, this is the moment when we do it. If not, after a few seconds, we move forward to the next question. After that, there should be a leaderboard. So we do get out of 2, 4, 6, 7 people, we do get the numbers. Okay. And what that means, everyone answered correctly, right? Veronica was the fastest, congratulations. And then we do have some other people that answered there as well. All right, any questions, anything that we should do? I'm assuming no, so I'm moving to the second question. All right, and here we go. What is the best way to determine whether you are facing cross-cultural issues within or without your team during a transition project? Okay, everyone has voted. And we do have the answer, so majority answered correctly. Pay attention to behaviors and remain curious about what is happening, but we did have a few other ones that were probably close as well. And the author of this question was Mike. And this is the comment that he's giving here. Mike, do you want to give some additional commentary here or voiceover?
See what it says there. You know, all of the answers to a certain extent are correct. Asking questions is always good. But you know, what I said about curiosity earlier on, your curiosity extends to what's happening around me and paying attention and always being aware of what's going on. Words will tell you so much, but behaviors will tell you everything.
Great, thank you. Okay, and moving forward to the next question. Again, if you have any questions or comments, just jump in. Otherwise, I'll be just moving forward. So we do have the results. Okay, some changes here. Okay, and then moving to the next question. Question number 3. What is cultural sensitivity? Promoting cultural superiority, being aware of and respectful to differences, disregarding diversity, or ignoring cultural values. One of those is correct. Okay, everyone has voted and everyone is correct. Congratulations. So it's a matter of time. Then Alexandra created this question. It involves understanding, respecting cultural differences, fostering inclusivity, and so on and so forth. And let's see how we did. Okay, so there were some people a little bit faster than the others, and it slightly changes the setup here. All right. Moving forward, question number 4. What does a high score on power distance dimension from Hofstede mean? Power distance dimension. And and it's a high score. Right? Woo! that was an interesting one. That's so we of course
that's mine actually. So sorry for having it's very tricky, but it is one of the cultural dimensions that we discuss over the studies, and this measures to what extent people are okay or not okay with inequalities across the nation. So an example of a country with high power index is China, and a low one is US. It means that in China, rather people are used to differences. In US, the set of mind, let's say, is that people should be more equal than sometimes they obviously are. So that's the one of the dimensions that we could be discussing.
All right, thank you, Hania. So a question being a great equalizer for us all. So all the streaks are cancelled, and now we move forward again. Okay, so with that, question number 5. Team that is culturally diverse above all is characterized by and greater challenges, better business decision, greater openness, or all answers are correct. Everyone has voted. All right, we do have a split, and the author of this answer is saying above all the answers are correct. There's no above all. All right, so global teams and diverse, all of those things matter. It's hard to put a pin on which one of those is especially more right than the other, especially that you have different cultures and a little bit different angles of working with teams depending on where we are and how that works. That's how the author sees it. All right. How are we doing? Okay. Few good answers. Congratulations. All right. And then we move to question number 6. Mr. Y is often late for meetings. How might this behavior be read in Brazil? This is a lack of respect, the cultural norm. He doesn't know how to manage time, or Brazilians will appreciate the flexibility. Okay. All right. Yeah, it's a cultural norm and doesn't bother anyone. Yeah. You will have different views on how time is perceived. And it's quite important to understand that if you're running meetings and agree how you will all work within the working, especially in the working environment, and how you meet and plan things. A little bit different goes for the parties, right? But for the business meetings, you definitely should have agreement how you proceed and operate within that. All right, so here we go with the leaderboard. Congratulations, some changes here again. Okay, and question number 7, so 1/3 of the way. Where is egalitarian leadership most common? And in Scandinavian countries, in Netherlands, in Japan, in Germany, or in USA? Everyone has voted egalitarian, right? Okay, egalitarian goes mainly for the Scandinavian countries, right? And the interesting part that not everyone actually follows from the history is this legacy of the Vikings, where they had a lot of things where individuals were contributing all together and making some decisions there together as well. And now the Netherlands were there as well. Okay, so a few changes here. Okay, so that everyone can see how you're doing. And now question number 8. What is a Chinese person born and raised in the country likely to think about a manager who comes to work on a bicycle? Okay, let's see what happens. Oh, that's a tough question, apparently. So while that may be very cool and very positive in number of cultures, traditionally at least in China, apparently that may be seen as a lack of respect because this person is representing the whole team and is formal representation of the stature and the team and the company and so on, would expect that person to be presented in the managerial way, and that would be something else than bike, apparently. Okay. Maggie, congratulations. And we move forward. Question number 9. When a team leader asks for the desk to be moved away from the team, it's probably a sign of. What is the sign of if leader wants to move a desk away from the team? Okay. All right, 50-50 almost split here. It's a hierarchical way of thinking about leadership. And then this separation can be seen in the hierarchical manager side as power distance, right? Something where it radiates power of the leader and that person being in the right position in that person's eyes.
So I can share a story, a real life story from Thomson Reuters. I remember, I thought it was Reuters before Thomson Reuters. I was working with Sebastian from South Africa. He lived in London that time, and he came to Poland to see. We were preparing the new space in our building, in our office. And 2 girls, 2 managers or team leaders that time, they asked me to move their desks to the corners. And when he entered the room, he said one sentence, "Oh, I can see hierarchy here." So that's about the desks, moving desks separately. Yeah, so I remember this story from my life.
Thanks for sharing, Gosia. Okay, question number 10. So we're halfway through. Okay. How will a Dutch person most likely respond to direct criticism? Direct criticism of the Dutch person. Okay. Oh, so apparently, because this is this culture of straight feedback, they will be very direct with giving, be it positive or negative feedback, right? And then they do not take it personally as such, right? Oh, I just see. And by the way, I just see I've missed the author. So it's
Małgorza's question.
Other than Agnieszka, apologies, Małgorzata, but you all see that, right? All right.
Okay, just one comment. Gosia is not here, so just one comment. It's quite interesting that there are some cultures like United States. They are very direct in communication, but they are not really direct in negative feedback. But people from Netherlands and Israel, they are both direct in communication and direct in negative feedback. It's quite fascinating that we can be direct in communication by indirect in negative feedback.
Mm-hmm. All right, question 11. Thanks, Gosia. Who is most likely to add a manager to email communication? A person from Poland, India, United States, or Denmark? You see, we have all different experiences here, depending who you worked with, probably, right? And there are ranges, but it's about the most likely. And from the cultural perspective purely, right, the most probable, due to the hierarchical caste system, it would be a person from India.
So one more comment from me and story as well. I was really, I didn't add, I was not adding the manager to the emails, and the developer, he used to adding his manager all the time. Once I learned it, the manager changed for manager from United States. So that was really upset that I was adding him. So pay attention and be flexible.
Right, question 12. Okay, where will the biggest cultural barrier be to introduce self-management? Estonia, France, Thailand, or Peru? Okay, everyone has voted. What happened here? Oh, yeah, Thailand. So yes, that's correct. It's Thailand. And because of the hierarchical culture, that is most likely where it would be most challenging. That doesn't mean it's impossible. You can set things in many places and with many people and cultures, but it will be more difficult. All right. Movement here. All right, congratulations. Question 13. In which of the given situations the highest risk of misunderstanding occurs? So low context cultures, high context cultures, mixes of those, no one misunderstandings. So people from a high context culture. So we do have a split here. Gosia, you want to take it?
Yeah, so that's because these people, if people come like from China or Japan and Brazil, they've got completely different context. They got completely different. So the signals, the body language is different. That's why the confusion between two high context countries will be the biggest, the most.
Thank you. Okay. Okay. Question 14. Which of the following shall happen for an American to consider a meeting successful? American person. Huh? Past decisions were made here. And the majority correct, right? A decision was made. If there was a decision, the meeting was successful. Right? If we only discussed and then we dispersed, then probably we wasted a bit of our time from the perspective of America. Okay. And question 15. You have the most reliable and cost-effective solution in the industry, while the Asian customer chooses a more expensive and less unreliable one. Why? And less reliable one. Okay. Yes, your competitor had a local office, right? The local presence and being respective of the local nuances and differences, it's being seen among others, right, as a sign of respect, and therefore competition has more trust into you than to someone else, right?
Yeah, it's mainly about trust and understanding.
All right. Congratulations here. And then Yeah, just remind you looking at those and assuming that Gosia, you're Maggie, then you don't need to worry about Gosia because she doesn't count, right? Here, I'm not sure about Twitter, but then that may or may not be Hania or Mike as well. All right. Question 16. Why is it important to save face in Confucian Asian countries? To save face, so when you're talking with someone, you don't want to make them lose face. Right? Okay, and yes, it lets maintain harmony, but we do have a split here. It's Gosia again, rather than Agnieszka. Apologies for that. So loss of the face within every culture, right? So it's treated differently, but in those countries, it's in good tone to give the chance for someone else to retreat, to save face, to move back, right? So you wouldn't be that 1-0 in the communication if someone is not right? You would be having a little bit of a round discussion there.
And sometimes another story from my experience with my friend. I was taking over from her and she was supposed to give me rights and she didn't, and nothing happened at all. But she was really saying that she gave me the rights and the system didn't work. Probably she forgot, but because she didn't want to lose the face, she was persisting that that was the system fault.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we all can relate from time to time.
Yeah.
To that. 17, so just a few more questions. And here we go. In Japan, a rap concert by an international star is starting. Yeah, perfect to the minute. In Japan and a few other countries in the world where being on time is a sign of the respect, right? Everything will tend to be just on time, right? All right. And then we do have, in a hierarchical culture, the manager expects his orders to be followed. A member of an egalitarian culture openly challenges boss's opinion because. Okay, majority did get it correctly in the regards to this question. So because his or her values are based on openness and critical thinking. Okay. So while the boss may be looking from different perspective, the person from the egalitarian will tend to challenge whatever they do not like, right? And that, of course, that may bring some other challenges, right, within the team that you need to overcome them. Okay, almost there. Congratulations. Question number 19 is what the Dutchman hears when a Brit comments on his concept. It's an original point of view. So what the Dutchman hears or understands when a Brit comments. It's an original point of view. Yeah, he likes my idea. So this is where those subtexts and different context of the communication come in. When Brit says it's an original idea, he's not that into that actually, right? Well, conceptually, right? While the Dutch would say, hey, he would give me a direct feedback, right? So if he's saying it's original, he likes it for its originality.
It's about giving negative feedback. So Brits, similarly to Americans, they don't give direct negative feedback.
Okay, question number 20 out of 21 is, how do you convince management in the US to implement a new factory safety monitoring solution, knowing that it works well in your country? Oh, on the last second. Okay, invite them to the factory to see how it works in practice. So a lot of learning by doing and jumping right into understanding how the things work come from this kind of
so just a comment from me, because it's quite interesting as well. And when you see the scale, the map, there are 8 dimensions. And when you use the tool, in the tool, you've got only 7 dimensions, because this is like in application first versus principle first. This is only, it doesn't apply to Asians, only to Europe and like America. So application first, like Canada, United States, Netherlands, Australia. So they need to try, they need to practice first. And principle first, we need to understand it first and then apply. So it's very useful for preparing presentation when you prepare some data. So Americans will not be interested in the research, how many people, when it was done, if just how it was used. People from other countries like Germany, they will be more interested in the method the research was done. So always be prepared when you speak to a global audience, always be prepared to have all these details as well, not only the case studies.
And it's interesting if your manager changes, right? Or your team members change because you may be used to preparing the data and presentation or whatever in one form, and then it shifts completely. Whatever you were doing is not that important anymore in case of other. Now, obviously, you need to do your research, but whether you share it or not, it's a different story. Okay, and we're going to the last question then. And that is, at a dinner in South Korea, the atmosphere is pleasant, but after comments about politics and the government, the hosts felt uncomfortable. Why? Okay, yeah, that's correct for majority. Criticism of the government is unbecoming in Korea. All right, so with that, we do have a final view here. Some small changes here and there. So very close. So Maggie, that's Gosia, I'm assuming, right?
I skipped 2 questions, but it was polite.
Congratulations, but well, that's good that you know, that's good that you know your stuff as the lecturer, right? Okay, then sorry, so who's Tweeto?
Mike.
That's Mike.
Sadly, that is B. Yeah.
So
okay.
Magda.
Again.
Hi, hello. Yeah, it's me.
Okay, we do have Magda, and Magda, congratulations. So, well, I cannot change this view now. You have the most points, but actually number of points are very close to each other, right? It's a matter of questions here and there. So congratulations to everyone. Now, Magda, you let us know which of those books you'd like to get, and then we'll cover, we'll get this done for you, okay?
Okay.
And you get, so contact us, yeah? So we have your data, so you can send the book.
Actually, the power of the project leadership, that will be
okay. So if Magda, if you send me the details of your paczkomat, so I will send the book because it's with me. That's the latest. I got it from Susan a few weeks ago.
Okay.
The second edition. That's the second.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so with that, we finished the quiz. Hope you enjoyed it, and if you didn't know some of the answers, that you know a little bit more about it. Of course, during the studies, we get deeper into the topic there as well. So now I believe we move to the final phase, where if you would have any questions, comments about the TMA or anything else for that matter, we're here for you, and we're happy to answer those.
So question time. Or any comments as well about cultural differences, any experience you would like to share?
I think we're experiencing some cultural differences, Gosha.
Really? No question.
Yeah, so my question for you, when you had so many encounters already with us as Poles, right? So what is the strangest or most surprising, or just something that got you thinking of the differences that you saw from your perspective?
Oh, that's a very good question. Of course, I'm English, so I'm going to answer indirectly and not tell you what I really think. No, I shall answer directly. I think the strangest thing for me is that, and it still catches me out sometimes, is like this, one-to-one or in small groups, you are the friendliest, nicest group of people to be with that you could imagine. But put you in a large group or in a public place and interact with you, it's like interacting with a brick wall, basically. And I've told the story before about the first time I spoke at a conference in Poland at Gosha's invitation, and did a really emotional talk about how we feel, about feelings, talking about feelings and empathy and things like that to about 200 Polish people in the audience. And I was looking at the audience thinking that was dreadful. It just basically bombed completely. And then at the networking event in the evening, one by one, many of the audience came to me and said, "Oh, that was beautiful. It was wonderful. I felt so moved." And I thought, well, that's interesting. And when I spoke to Gosha said, well, of course, we're Polish. Yeah, nobody in that room was going to show anyone any kind of feelings whatsoever. But look at you now. Look at your face, Shemek. Look at Gosha's face, and look at Hannah's smiling picture as well. You are naturally a very friendly set of people one-on-one, but just don't try and be friendly in a group because it doesn't work.
That's super interesting. Thanks for sharing. Gosha, you shared a lot of stories. I'm thinking maybe someone else on the call. Did you have any interesting stories when it comes to intercultural, cross-cultural, cross-border collaboration, be it private or business? Not that much so far.
Yeah. Can I just add one more thing for those listening who are not part of the team and who might be joining us? Again, I've probably echo something that Kasia said, but I warn you that you will change. And however you are now in your interactions with people, you will be different at the end of the process, in a very good way, and hopefully a way that you enjoy and that helps you in your careers and in your life. Hi, Hannah.
I think we have, hello, I'm all the time here, just off the camera for a while. I think we have a comment from Veronica on the chat about working in Netherlands. That's super interesting. Can you tell a bit more, maybe?
Yeah, so the culture changes, and with the new generation, there is also a bit of the resistance for a negative indirect feedback. the new generation of the Dutch people, they care about their mental health, and they're reacting very quickly on the negative feedback that can influence them.
That's interesting. Thank you, Veronica.
Well, that makes sense, right? That the things evolve, especially if we are in more and more globalized society, right? So then those natural tendencies when it comes to communication and what works, what doesn't work, may be changing.
So if you remember the first question on the quiz, which was one that I posed and said, you know, you could, if you wanted to know if you're going to have any issues, you could maybe do some kind of test. And the reason why that's okay, but not a great idea, is that things change. And so, you know, this is a really good example why, you know, you might have read the book, you might have done our course and you expected something from the Dutch. Pay attention to behaviors, notice what's going on, remain curious. Keep asking yourself what has to be true for that other person for them to act like that. That's the most important thing I think that you can learn when working with other people from any culture. Pay attention and be curious.
I have a question actually, Veronica, regarding the Dutch people from the younger generation you mentioned, because you say that they are not dealing well with direct negative feedback. So I was wondering, do they still provide negative feedback? So one thing is how they deal with that.
Yeah,
but I was wondering, how do they communicate on the, you know, what's their style of communication?
That's still the same. So they're very direct and they are very open to share their feedback, but they got a bit sensitive.
Yeah, so definitely there's some change happening.
That
Interesting
that sounds
insight.
interesting, right?
Yeah.
So how I read it, right? They're still very eager to give the direct negative feedback, but not that much to receive it then, right? So the shift is halfway through.
Yeah, I have a colleague, he's 24, I am 30 plus. So we had some, that's not a big generational gap, but still, I need to already know how to approach some things with him, especially when it comes to the change management.
And one more thing as well just came to my mind when we talk about models, because these dimensions, it's a kind of modeling. So it's a kind of simplification, yeah? Because when we talk about trust, like we know Polish people do not trust, yeah? Only 23 plus, around 24% Polish people trust each other. And when you meet me, for example, I trust quite a lot. Yeah, so that even something we might assume that Dutch people are direct in negative feedback. Some of them might not be so direct, and vice versa as well. Yeah, so there are more dimensions, personalities differences as well. Yeah.
So there's an interesting survey made by Erin Meyer. I think it's attached to one of her Harvard Business Review articles, and we have a look at it during our classes. Erin Meyer is a professor of the French University INSEAD, and she wrote a highly acclaimed book, The Culture Map, that we also discussed a lot on our course. And what she did interestingly in the survey is that actually everyone can go through this link, identify themselves as being part of given nation, and then answer like 20 questions. So, you know, it's just very short test, but still it shows where we are compared to our national average, let's say. And obviously no one is exactly as the average. So sometimes we can see, it's interesting to see where we are, and it is changing in time, because I've did it a couple of times and it does change because we do change. Sorry for my voice today.
It also depends of where you live. I also made some assessment for myself, and I am always curious how I look looking at the Dutch society, because I live here for 7 years already, and how I still look at looking at the Polish society, and then the average. The where you live influence you as well.
Yeah, we talk quite
That's
a
true.
lot. During the studies, we talk quite a lot about values as well. Yeah, so our value system, how we and our assumptions as well. So and they change, yeah, through our life, and people around us impact us as well.
Yeah, and it's also regarding this that when we think about culture, we think about different nationalities, but actually it has a lot to do with our group of friends or working environment, because different culture would be in a startup than I would, let's say, in a bank. So it's also a cultural difference. So I think we can see most of it like that there are companies with a given culture where some things are common to be done or uncommon to be done. I remember some meetings in a Swiss organization I was working on where the meetings were starting sharp on time and 5 past. Usually they were, done. So anyone being late would be like, late for everything. And in some other companies, it's okay that people usually take 1 minute or 2 minutes, 3 minutes or more on the
15
call.
minutes.
Yeah, so it really depends. So even some easy and very basic things as when do you call into your business calls can vary from company to company and not even from nationality to nationality. Also, given that we are working more and more often in some dispersed groups and not only in hybrid or totally like remote teams, but also sometimes our work is not done at the same time. So specifically with the time differences, we have just a short overlap. Like with Asia, we have short overlap, like here in Poland in the morning, or with the US in the afternoon. But otherwise, we do our work independently, and we have just brief moments of time where we catch up. So it is also a matter of culture that we tend to forget, and I think it's fascinating how it's changed over the years.
Thanks, Hania. Any other comments, questions, stories you want to share? Mike?
No, not from me. I've got a very excited dog here. It's going to get noisy soon, so probably best I mute again.
Okay, so thank you, Magdalena. Okay, so shall we wrap up? So thank you very much for your time. I enjoy a lot. I usually enjoy these meetings. It's quite exciting. And we have two more days. The recruitment for TMA 7 will finish in 2 days. Hopefully we've got a few more people, and then we will extend, or maybe after these 2 days we have the full house. Fingers crossed for the full house. If not, we will extend the recruitment till the end of the month, and hopefully we meet in what's the name? October. What's the name of the next month? October with TMA, with the group of TMA 7. So thank you very much. If you have any questions, any thoughts, you can also contact us directly. We will answer the questions or concern you might have. So thanks a lot, everyone. Thanks a lot, everyone on Zoom and on LinkedIn as well. And you guys, thank you very much for preparing this and joining. And see you soon in Warsaw.